quite a common thing. And I mean, I went through that many years ago. I mean, I started my first business when I was 21. And you know, I've set up probably about 7 in total since. Some I've sold, some I've you know, had their own problems and closed up, you know, and things like that. I've probably employed a couple of 100 people in my time as well. So, you know, when we make decisions, and this is the thing, you know, you talk about the responsibility. You know, there's usually several influences to our emotions. So one is how we judge ourselves. So when we make a decision and it doesn't pay off, we often beat ourselves up for that decision.
Yeah.
The other side of it is when we make a decision and when we're making it, we're almost worrying whether it's going to be right or not. And some of the influence is not whether you think you did it right, but what other people will judge you when, you know, it does fail.
Oh, that's very true, yeah.
So we quite often worry about what everybody else is thinking of us and what their opinion of us is. You know, and that kind of can cloud our judgment as well.
Yes.
So that's quite often a big influence.
Yes, no, you're right, yeah.
Now, the challenge is there's a very simple principle in psychology. And that is your brain works on a thing called confirmation bias. So what your brain wants to do is prove your thoughts, prove your feelings, prove that you are right in your assertion, in your fear. Because there's a part of the brain called the amygdala, and it's our fight or flight response. It's the bit that basically protects us from being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. You know, to put it in perspective, that is a very ancient mechanism. The amygdala is the lizard part of our brain. I know that might sound a bit strange, but you know, it's one of the oldest parts, the animalistic side. And all it cares about is making sure we're living and breathing at the end of the day. So as you grow up and as you go through life, we get emotional cues as to how we should or shouldn't act. So we're often taught, and this is one of the biggest contentious issues I have. I've got a bit of a beam up on it about the education system. It's not an education system. It actually destroys intelligence rather than nurtures it. There's a lot of evidence to support that. And you know, we're taught that we have to do this, and we're taught competition, and you know, that your grades are important. It defines you. And people are different. And you get left brain people and right brain people. I don't know if you're familiar with the hemispheres and their kind of duties within the brain.
Yeah.
So left hemisphere is very methodical, very you know, sequential. It's mathematics, it's language, it's organisation. Whereas the right brain is it's like a parallel processor. It brings things from all different angles and then creates something new. It's the creative side of us. Modern schooling is very left-brained. It's very do this to get that mark. I want to quantify it and measure it. And you know, also, you know, you're taught at school that you know, if you don't get a good enough mark, then obviously you're substandard. But the thing is you know, there's people that brains aren't designed for mathematics. They're designed for other things. So when they're labelled not very good at mathematics, they then think they're stupid because they're not as good as everybody else. And it's a very big source of anxiety and stress, you know, with the younger generation. But then this gets imprinted on our psyche. And when we get older, we're kind of using these kind of measurement tools, and you know, it's like, so you buy something, it should sell, right? In theory. But when it doesn't, it's like you failed the test. Yeah,
exactly,
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that automatically then makes you feel a bad businesswoman. You know, you start then questioning whether you should be buying stuff, whether you should be in business, whether you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a spiral. And the challenge is that the subconscious mind doesn't rationalize what you are going through. What it will do is it works on confirmation bias. In other words, it looks for evidence of your beliefs. So if you're thinking, oh God, things that I buy don't sell, and I'm worried about, selling products, what you will subconsciously do is when you go out looking for products to sell, are buy ones that you actually kind of deep down know aren't going to sell. You might buy them because you like them, but not necessarily that somebody else might like them. But your subconscious mind will make you think that it's a good idea. Because what it wants you to do is buy something that isn't going to sell, so when it doesn't sell, it proves you right.
Yeah, I see. Self-fulfilling, as they say.
Exactly, yeah. That entire thing, right? Self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. You behave in such a way to prove yourself right. And it's classic self-sabotage.
Okay.
So, the key factor with this to come out the other side, because it does take a little bit of reprogramming. Yeah. Because as you can imagine, the belief systems that are making you make the decisions that you're making the choices, and deciding to move forward in a particular way with particular ideas, are all based on a particular mindset that your past has conditioned you to believe in. Now, Einstein said that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it.
Okay.
So what he's saying there is your conditioned response patterns have made you make those decisions. To be able to make and those decisions got you X result. Yeah. So basically what he's saying is if you want X result to change to Y result, what you are doing, the way you're thinking, needs to change to be able to do something different to get a different result.
Yeah.
Yeah? So this is kind of what subconscious surgery is about. It's about giving you a different perspective. But the way it does is it removes the emotional trigger that's associated with that limiting belief. The fear that your mind is attempting to prove.